Let's face it, 2020 has been a nightmare.
Winter has brought us massive wildfires in Australia, people eating bats in China, and the President of the United States was impeached.
Spring ushered in the coronavirus pandemic, which brought the entire world to a screeching quarantined halt. And Kobe Bryant died.
Summer came and went with bad cops killing innocent people, protests, riots, and civil unrest.
We don't know about you, but we're ready to put the past behind us and look to the future. Chunky sweaters, falling leaves, and pumpkin spice everything. That's right, it's time for fall. The fall of civilization!
It's not looking good for humanity, but there is a little glimmer of hope for our future, and it's just a few weeks away.
We're talking about November 3rd, Election Day. Even though this is a presidential election, there are many more candidates on the ballot besides just the president. We want to tell you about Ballot Ready. It's a nonpartisan guide to your entire ballot. From there, you can compare candidates based on stances, issues, biography, or endorsements. Then you can save your choices so they're handy when you're ready to vote.
You can even request your absentee ballot or make a plan to vote, whether it's early voting or on Election Day.
This election matters. Make sure you vote, but don't just vote blindly or vote for your preferred political party like a sucker.
Vote informed with Ballot Ready. Did you know that only 55% of eligible voters cast their vote in the 2016 election, and we could have totally avoided this mess?
And 30% of voters that actually take the time to vote leave a large portion of their ballot blank.
Local elected officials, they affect our lives every day. They decide who gets prosecuted for crimes. They monitor our quality of drinking water. They decide how our tax money is spent.
And it's okay if you're not familiar with every initiative or candidate on your ballot. Just go to ballotready.org, enter your address, and make a plan to vote, and vote informed.
Or, if you don't have time to vote, or just don't care, send us your address, and we'll tell you who to vote for, because there's nothing we love more than amplifying our own voices.
Use your voice. If not for yourself, use it to choose representatives and initiatives that will lift up and support your marginalized friends, family, and community. Get out there and vote! Hi, everyone.
Well, hello there.
Welcome back to Family Home Evening. Charlotte, I really love your cute little ceramic temple that you have on your fireplace mantle.
I spent the evening painting it with my loved ones.
It's super cute. It really goes with that cross-stitch pillow you have on your couch. Adorable.
But not quite as amazing as the portrait of the family reading the Bible together.
That is great, too. So, should we tell everybody what we're drinking?
Yeah, hey, cheers real quick.
Cheers. I'm really excited to try this one because it was recommended to me by my friend at work. He said it tastes like pebbles and old library books.
Which is right up our alley.
So cheers.
So let's find out. Yeah.
Interesting.
It's interesting. I'm going to give it a minute to kind of...
I like it.
Breathe.
This is called Rabble. Rabble wine. It's a cab from Paso Robles, California.
Delicious.
Yeah, I feel like it's Satan like tempting me to, do bad things.
Paso Robles. That's what they do there.
Yeah, it's like if you could turn Satan into a flavor. That's what it would be. I love being able to drink wine.
Me too. Oh, I like that. Sometimes it takes me. I have to have a couple sips first before I can get a feel for what I'm flavoring, what I'm tasting.
And it's a moderately priced bottle.
Excellent.
And let me tell you the other cool thing about this wine. Sorry, you guys can't see the label, but so these labels, the guy who bought this winery, these are old printing press blocks.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and so all the labels are super unique.
I don't know why, but it reminds me of Don Quixote. Like, is that a thing?
It looks deserty, and
I mean, there's no
there's a quest happening.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say it's not like there's like windmill or anything like that, but I feel like I could see a guy on a donkey in there.
Totally. There's probably a windmill behind that mountain.
I bet you're right. Is it a volcano? I don't know what's happening.
It's steamy.
I like it. Now, if we had an Instagram, we do have an Instagram. We could take a picture of it and put it on our Instagram.
Perfect. Check out our Instagram, FHE Bad Mormons. Family Home Evening Bad Mormons on Instagram.
Excellent.
Good thinking, Charlotte.
Thanks. I didn't mean to.
I feel like we've kind of found our groove audio-wise. I feel like there have been some ups and downs in our first trial episodes, some editing.
It's what happens when you're new.
Cutting and pasting, but I feel like So we've tried recording straight on the Anchor platform. We've tried recording with GarageBand. We've done it on the iPhone. And then we bought these fancy new gaming mics, which is the superb quality that you're hearing right now. Although I just want to say, if anyone's interested in trying out a podcast, the iPhone mic is actually just as good, I feel like.
I agree. The only difference is that, like, with the iPhone, you have the tendency to move it closer or further away from your face, whereas these will just sit.
That's
and maybe,
true.
you know.
And depending on how much wine we drink, we'll either move farther
100%.
or closer.
And I'm going to warn y'all, we just got back from dinner where we drank some wine, so...
But we also ate a lot of carbs, so I'm feeling evened out.
Spaghetti.
Yeah, that was good. I love that place. What's it called? Let's give them a little...
Oh, Carvelo's.
Carvelo's in San Juan Capistrano.
Delicious.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so what are we talking about today?
Well, I have a treasure trove of stories, and I'm trying to pick the funniest ones, but I thought it might be funny to tell you the story of the day you were born.
Ooh.
I thought you might be interested in hearing that one.
You know what I love? Stories about me.
I know! That's why this podcast is so great! So let me just set the scene for you. And I remember this so very clearly. It was my Aunt Julie's wedding day. And so my Aunt Julie and her sister Jill were like, when I was a kid, they were single, like, ladies, and they were like the cool aunts, right?
Yes,
so like they took me to Disneyland when I was 7.
Oh, that's so cool.
We went to a casino, and
Are they allowed to go to casinos?
I don't think so. They were rebelling, and Grandma was with us too.
Ooh, dang.
But I can't remember if it was Jill or Julie, but somebody had like cups full of quarters, like metal quarters, and we went to Whiskey Pete's, which you and I know very well.
Right.
And I was 7 years old, and so there was a rule in the casino where you had to take, I forget what it was, 4 feet back from a slot machine
Sounds
if you
right.
weren't old enough, or 10 steps back or something like that. And so I would very carefully, the pit boss or whatever you call it at Whiskey Pete's came up to me and was like very sternly like, "You can't be in here, miss. You're underage." 7. You got to take your steps back. And so like all the adults were like smiling and laughing, and so I would like very cautiously take however many steps back I was supposed to take, and then I'd bump into another machine and everybody would start laughing at me, and I was just like terrified I was gonna go to jail or something. But then my cool aunts gave me a roll of quarters, which is what, $10
Yeah.
to a 7-year-old,
Dude,
right?
That's a lot.
And then they sent me to the casino. Or not the casino, sorry, the arcade.
Right. Which, to be fair, for a 7-year-old, is like a casino.
It's even better than a casino.
Right?
And there was a bunch of other kids in there, and I had a lot of friends for like 20 minutes with that roll of quarters.
Dude.
Anyways, so those were my cool aunts. And then after that, we went to Disneyland, and that was super fun too. So at this time, it was Julie's wedding day, and I remember I was wearing a blue dress, and they were sharing an apartment at the time, I believe. They don't think that they had left that apartment yet. They were roommates, like us.
Aw.
Oh my God, we're cool aunts too.
Yeah, we are.
Anyway.
I was like, are we aunts? Yes, we are aunts.
We are aunts. A growing number of nieces and nephews. Who are all very adorable, by the way.
Very much are.
Anyways, I was wearing a blue dress, and it must have been Jill, because I think Julie was probably getting ready for her own wedding. So I was getting my hair done, and there was a boombox radio on the counter, and Mom was in labor with you at the time, because we've joked,
Ruined her wedding.
to this day, like, it's all got to be about Charlotte. Nobody can have a day to themselves. Charlotte's got to make an entrance on your wedding day. But I'll never forget. It was, I won't say what year you were born, but we all know what it was. And we know what movie was coming out that year, which was The Empire Strikes Back. And we were listening to the radio as I was getting my hair done. And the radio announcer, apparently they didn't believe in spoiler alerts back then, because he was like, "Could the rumors be true? Are Luke and Leia really brother and sister?"
I'd be pissed.
And my mind was absolutely blown. I was like,
they can't be.
What? I guess that would have been Jedi. That wouldn't have been Empire. Because they didn't find out till
That's
Jedi.
right.
Yeah.
It was the very end of Empire, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember, I was like, how was I so invested in that movie if Empire was the first movie that I saw in the movie theater? That's because it was Jedi.
Right. Makes sense.
Clearly, I don't know anything about Star Wars.
I don't even like that movie.
Yeah, it's so gross. Only nerds would like that stuff, that sci-fi stuff.
Although now everybody likes it, so you don't even get to be a nerd anymore. Sucks to suck.
Guess so. Anyways, yes, that's my very vivid memory. Oh, and this other one popped up too as I was thinking about that, and I was actually like texting with one of our cousins today, and she was like, oh, what'd she say? It was so funny. So we used to go to Jackson Hole every year,
yeah.
and like I was one of the oldest cousins. I was the oldest girl, and then my cousin Ryan was the oldest boy. And for some reason, I always this was, everybody had gotten married and had kids by then, so there was a ton of cousins. And I was always...
Like they do.
I was always the one who was like, you're babysitting all the cousins while the adults go out to have dinner or whatever. And I'd totally forgotten about this, but so there's this time that, we were all there, and Kelly, our brother Kelly, was there, and he was like playing guitar for the kids, and we're playing with the kids or whatever, and he showed the kids his tongue ring, and they got so scared that he was like a bad guy or whatever, and they ran and hid in the room. And she was like, I felt so bad about that this whole time. And I was like, I don't even remember that. But let me tell you what, my cousin Emily, you were right to be scared, because I had one of those tongue rings myself, and I had a labret piercing, and I caused about $5,000 worth of damage to my mouth.
That sucks.
That I had to pay for with my own money.
And did you even look that cool?
No, I didn't. I looked like a total dork. And it was very painful. And yeah, chipped my teeth, gum. Had to get a gum graft, a bone graft in my jaw.
Ugh.
Like, yeah. You were right to be scared anyways. So that just made me laugh. And I was thinking of that text conversation. And I was like, don't feel bad about being scared, because you knew deep down, you knew there was something to be scared of.
Right.
Right.
Don't get face piercings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember I wanted to get my tongue pierced like so badly, because you had your tongue pierced, Tiffany had her tongue pierced. Maybe even Laurie, I think she had her tongue pierced too. And I want to say I was 13 at the time. And I told Mom, I was like, I want to get my tongue pierced. And she's like, too bad. Like, it was too bad, but like, then it was, well, what can I give you so you don't get your tongue pierced? Like,
how can I bribe you?
Yeah, pretty much. And then it was like, computers were just kind of being a thing. So like, about the time I was 12, the internet, like AOL dial-up was a thing, right? I think by the time I was 14, I think there was like unlimited internet at that point. Like, you could pay for like the month or whatever. But anyway, so she's like, I could get you a computer and a printer. And I was like, no, I want my tongue pierced. So we go to Laguna Beach, and we go in, and she's like, well, my daughter wants her tongue pierced. She's like, okay, well, how old are you? I was like, I'm 13 years old. She's like, well, I don't personally pierce anybody's tongue that young because of the purpose of the tongue ring. And I'm like, what are you talking about? No idea. Completely oblivious. And she's like, and I was like, but I want to, and she's like, no, yeah, it's just personally, I just personally won't do it, but come back later tonight when the next piercer is on his shift, and he might be into it, like, or whatever. And so because that didn't work, then I ended up getting a computer and a printer.
Nice.
And I was like, really glad I didn't pierce my tongue, because even though I would have been all about it, but then I would have all the dental, and I don't want to deal with that shit.
No, you really don't. Nobody wants to deal with that. And let me just tell you, I'm going to just go out on a limb and say, of all the scientific research I've done, which is none, 98.7% of people who got their tongue pierced in the 90s didn't get it pierced for the reason that it was supposed to be pierced, like the kinky sex reason.
Right.
No, it was because you looked cool.
That you can't even see it, but it looks cool.
Yeah, with your choker and your chunky shoes when you go to your rave and your candy necklace.
Tiffany to this day still has a bump on her tongue from the scarring.
I remember when
she
said
got that done. She took it out, like, she had it in her mouth for years. Took it out for a minute to clean it. Less than a minute. Took it out, wiped it down, went to put it back in, and your tongue heals really quickly, and healed it right up.
Mm-hmm. You know what we used to use, too? Because, like, there was a lot of jobs that wouldn't let you have it.
Oh,
and I remember that right when she got her tongue pierced, because this guy, Jason, well, that's a whole other story, but this guy, Jason, pierced it. He was on an episode of Jenny Jones or one of those where he had the big death symbol on his chest, but he was married to this like pure Mormon girl, and he was like all
interesting,
looked like Satan or whatever.
Right.
But no, it was weed whacker wire.
Oh.
Like you used to cut a piece of weed whacker wire, melt the ends of it, and stick it through your tongue so it wouldn't close up. Yeah, that's the kind of shit we did because we're dumb.
Well, now they sell that shit. Just clear ones put in there so that you don't see it.
That's like $20. You could do this for like 3 cents.
Right. It's funny. I was gonna say, so the computer kind of reminds me, though, of, maybe that's a good segue into my segment, is that I got really, like, people who meet me, and I think I've said this before, like, I am extremely shy, and most people wouldn't believe it, but I really am. Like, if I go to a party and I know 2 or 3 people, I'll be fine, because I know that I've got people I can talk to, but for the most part, if I don't know anybody, it's extremely uncomfortable for me. But being online, because everybody had AOL dial-up, but we had something called IRC, which is Internet Relay Chat. My name was C-Day. And
of course it was.
I had because I kept, Laurie was like Beatles 1, 2, 3 or something stupid, and like
Don't be mean to your sister.
What? We all had stupid C-Day. Come on, mine was something even dumber that I honestly can't even remember what it was. But as soon as you logged out, you gave up that name, right?
Oh, weird.
So that's why I was like that's why Laurie had to be Beatles 1, 2, 3. And then eventually that got taken too. So, again, I can't even remember. Like, oh, mine was Groovy. Or maybe that was Laurie's. I can't remember. We really had some stupid-ass names. But I was going on complaining because then people couldn't find you because you'd have to pick a different username and be like, hey, no, it's me, blah, blah, blah. I don't know why the IP address didn't keep shit. I don't know. Anyways.
It was the early internet.
It was the early internet and shit didn't make sense. And frankly, I've been on the internet a lot, but by no means do I know shit how the internet works. But anyway, so I'd made a lot of friends and I would spend every day on it. But I was only allowed to have an hour, so I had to really like spread it out. I'd be on for like 15 minutes and then I'd wait a couple hours and go on for 15 minutes because I wanted to be able to talk to my friends, but I also didn't want to waste all my time. And then eventually I realized Jeff was lying to us and that it was all unlimited. Like,
let's tell our listeners who Jeff is.
Oh, if we have to. Jeff is our ex-stepfather that my mother married.
Our brother's dad. Our brother Richard's dad.
Let's say what? They got married when I was like 3?
Sounds about
2,
right.
3? So, they got divorced around when I was 17. Anyways, he's a real piece of work. You'll probably hear lots of stories about how much we don't like him.
Oh, you're going to surely hear stories. I wouldn't say it's that we don't like him. I would say that he's such a horrible monster that I actually planned his death.
We all have.
Multiple times.
The fact he's still breathing is questionable.
So, more to come on that, listeners.
Are we going to go to jail?
Only if we commit this murder.
But now if he randomly dies...
No, you guys aren't going to rat on us, are you?
You motherfuckers. You better not.
Snitches get stitches, okay?
Right. Well, anyway, so our piece of shit stepfather, sorry, because again, no father of mine, he's an IT dude, so that's the reason why we even had the internet. Yeah, he lied to me. He's like, oh no, you only get a half an hour, an hour a day or whatever, but then I figured out that he was wrong. Anyways, where was I going with this? Oh!
Internet relay chat.
Internet relay chat. So I had a lot of friends online. I ended up talking to this one dude for like, I don't know, maybe like a year and a half, but he lived nearby. And so like, I didn't do any of that stupid bullshit like, you're my internet boyfriend, or like, can you be my boyfriend IRL? In real life. But no, we were just friends, and like, and who even knows? My sister Laurie talked to him half the time under my name, so he never knew who the hell he was talking to half the time. But anyways, we wanted to meet. And so a couple times of trying and failing, it finally worked. And that's when I met Pat and Dan.
Patrick?
Patrick and Daniel.
Fabulous.
I ended up dating Daniel for like 4 years, but way later. But, so meeting them, and that was the guy that I was talking to online. But I'd never talked or knew anything about this Patrick fellow. And he had black hair, purple sunglasses, and like a black trench coat. Like, he was just gothic, right? And it was just like we laughed and laughed. Well, actually, first when we saw them, we ran away because that just seems to be something our family does. Me and Tiffany, frankly, Tiffany sees somebody she doesn't want to, she just runs away rather than be like, oh, I don't want to meet that person or whatever.
I feel like I'm seeing a scene in The Matrix or something.
Right. But yeah, so we were like, we saw them, we're like, go. And we ran. And like, there's like, Nicole was with me. So Nicole was like my really good childhood friend from like 3rd grade to like 9th grade. So she was with us, Laurie, Tiffany, myself. So we run, and my mom's just in the parking lot because she's just like, who are you meeting? Like, what is happening? You met these people on the internet.
We didn't know the dangers of meeting
No, because this was the beginning of the internet. And they followed us. I don't really remember exactly how it worked. Anyways, we ended up going to a movie. We became really good friends, like, for a while. And then, but because Patrick was different, we thought it was really funny. And so we decided to make fun of him behind his back, because we didn't know him that well. I had already had blue hair. I have a lot of colored hair for the rest of my life. But like I had blue hair, but like I did like really thick eyeliner, like a lot of mascara, but like on the sides I would like do these like swirls and like
your face
dots.
was pretty white too, right?
Well, I was already pasty.
Oh, okay, so that wasn't makeup?
No. Well, the funny thing was I used to be a swimmer, but I always blamed it on being gothic that made me pale. But to be honest, I was already gothic, or not gothic, I was already pale at this point. Yeah, there was probably some, but like we didn't have that much makeup. I think we were using mom's makeup. So no, I was just pasty. So we did like these swirl, and I think I know what pictures you're thinking of, and that's when I actually was gothic.
Oh, wait, we haven't even got to gothic yet?
No, this was us making fun of Patrick.
Oh.
We were like, and so like what we used to really enjoy doing is we'd get a Polaroid camera and we'd go into the bathroom that had no lights. We'd turn the lights off, and then we'd like strike a pose or a face, and we'd take a picture in the dark because you never knew what it was going to look like. And then you have to wait a couple minutes and then you'd see it. Well, so we did that, but with all this stupid makeup on, looking just dumb.
Wait, I interrupted your makeup. Tell us in great detail what your makeup looked like.
So with the black eyeliner, we did black lips. You know, I think I have a picture somewhere.
Instagram.
Because I somehow have a really good memory when it comes to certain things, and I remember the timeline of this, and so I know which pictures were me serious gothic and me making fun of Patrick gothic. But anyway, so yeah, we did like big swirly things. We just pretty much drew all over our face with black eyeliner and like black lips, and we'd make these faces like you know, like I don't
seeing Morrissey's
like yes, we were like pouty lip meow whatever. And then when I was 15, and I can't remember what compelled me to start doing it, or if I just started doing my makeup like that ever like since then. Oh no, not at all, because shit, now I can't remember. I've been home, like I went to school for a while. I've been home taught a lot. Like again with my social anxieties, I tried to go back to school, and it was just so uncomfortable, and I had no friends. Like mom would come pick me up from school, and we, you know, she'd bring me like Carl's Jr. and we'd go to the park and hang out for lunch. Like it was really sweet because like I was so miserable. And then finally she's like, you know, why are you even in school? I'm going to yank you, put you back into like an online program. So we did that. And then 8th grade, because my friend Nicole, like we'd been really good friends since 3rd grade. She's like, you know what, you really come back to school. And I'm like, I don't want to go to school. I don't have any friends. She's like, I'm your friend. I'm like, yeah, but I know how you are. You make friends with the popular people, and I'm going to be alone, and I don't want to do that. And she's like, no, I'm going to hang out with you. I was like, okay. So I went back, and sure as shit, she became friends with the popular people, but like, and I was included, but they literally made a circle, like talking to each other, and I was outside of it. And I was just like, fuck this. Like, I don't want to be friends with you fucking people. So then I go hang out by myself. And then mom was like, what's wrong? I'm like, I hate school. And then she's like, so then she kind of picked me up. But anyway, so then I went back to homeschool for the rest of the 7th grade. But when I went back to 8th grade, I don't know what, I know exactly what it was. I was watching Jenny Jones.
Is that the episode that your sister was on?
No. Okay. That was much later.
Okay, go on.
That's a little teaser for next episode sometime with Laurie. she had the club kids on. So they had like neon blue hair and their clothes was like saran wrap. So it was all the kids that would go to like raves and
Giant platform
shoes,
what
right?
about the Jenkos, the jeans?
I don't know if Jenkos were around yet. That was later, but they definitely, I just remember saran wrap clothing. Like, it was just stupid. But I loved their hair. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to dye my hair that color. And so I did. And I really loved it a lot. And then, I don't know, I just stopped caring as much, I guess. So, like, so then I was going back. I'm like, I'm going back to school in 8th grade. Fuck all you guys. Literally, people would want to be my friend and I'd tell them to fuck off. Like, I was done with everybody's shit.
That's so goth.
It was so goth of me. But so I couldn't have fun colored hair, so I dyed it black. My eyeliner was thick as shit. And no one taught me how to do makeup. Like, and I'm not good at makeup. Like, now I'm okay, because thank you, YouTube. Which YouTube was around back then, but not the same way. Saw the very first South Park episode before it ever went on Comedy Central, when it was Jesus versus Santa Claus.
Oh, I remember. It
was good. And I'm like, why are these children cursing? This is great. But anyway, so yeah.
Focus, Charlotte.
Super thick, like, eyeliner and, like, black lipstick and so much foundation. Like, just the palest color, where to the point where the principal had to come up to me nearly daily to give me some shit about my makeup. Charlotte, it's too much eyeliner. Charlotte, it's too much blah, blah, blah. One day he came up to me and he was like, Charlotte, you're wearing too much foundation. And I said, I'm not wearing foundation today. And he had to take it back. But yeah, it was one of those things. So that's when I started actually being gothic or whatever. And like, I remember, because I have blonde ass hair, so my roots would grow in and I look like a skunk. And Mr. Ramirez, I fucking love him. He was my PE teacher. Everybody hated him and I don't know why. I mean, he was kind of a hard ass, but he was always nice to me. I told him I had a back injury and that I couldn't run.
What school were you in?
Are we allowed to say those things? Aliso Viejo Middle School.
Okay. I went to Los Alisos.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, this was in Aliso. I pretty much, day one, went up to him and said, Mr. Ramirez, I have a back injury. There's very limited things that I can do. And he's just like, okay, well, I'm going to need a doctor's note. I was like, yeah, of course. Next time I go, I'll see him next week. I'll bring you one. 3 weeks goes by. Charlotte, I'm really going to need that doctor's note. I'm like, yeah, Mr. Ramirez, I am on it. Never once did I get it. I got a C in PE. How I didn't get a failing, I ended up being like the teacher's assistant, and he knew I was full of shit too, because like there would be some times where I would be doing like pull-ups, and he's like, yeah, it's probably gonna hurt your back real bad, isn't it? I was like, yeah, I can already feel it. Oh, whatever. But he would call me skunk girl. When I tell people this story, they get like, oh, that is so mean. And I'm like, dude, I had black hair with a big blonde streak down where my roots were coming in. Yeah, call me skunk girl and give me a C. I'm fine. Like, but yeah, so that was me in high school. I really liked The Cure. I really liked Marilyn Manson.
Well, wait, so you were goth making fun of Patrick, then you grew into your real goth. So
I blame Jenny Jones.
So yeah, get back to the Jenny Jones story.
Oh, I mean that was it. That was
just
it. It was just I watched a lot of daytime TV.
So was Patrick in school with you? Because you guys are still friends to this day.
Yeah, totally. And we pretty much, so it was a weird timing thing. So we met Pat and Dan. We were really good friends with them, and they weren't just friends with me. They were friends with Laurie. They were friends with Valerie. They were friends with Nicole. I went to Utah to go visit Dad. Laurie didn't go. And I don't know, I heard they were talking shit about me or something stupid like that. My feelings were hurt. And I tried calling, and Nicole was being, like, shady. Like, I don't know. It was weird. So I was like, fuck you guys. You're not my friends. So when I came back, they tried to hang out with me, and I was like, I was trying to be, like, too cool for school. Like, I was an idiot. Like, just, you know, when you say things that you think are cool, but you just come off as, like, the lamest person ever. Mm-hmm. That was me coming back. Like, okay. And we just stopped being friends. And then we didn't reconnect until I went to high school. So I don't know how. That's right. My friend Megan, I won't say her last name, she had a party at her parents' house with Lathander, this death. Were they death metal? I don't even remember. The music sucked. I dated the bassist. No big deal. For 2 weeks, but then I went.
I dated the bassist of the shitty ass metal.
And then I was 15 and I wouldn't have sex with him, so he broke up with me. But so this band was playing at her house, and there was Pat and Dan, and I was like, fuck those pieces of shit. They're not my friends, because I do hold grudges a lot. And we ended up talking, and then just became, me and Pat became friends again after that. Dan not so much, and then we all became friends, and then, you know, went from there. But yeah, it was just, by that point, Patrick was Gothic, and I was Gothic.
So, wait, hold on. I just want to tell you, I want to interject a little bit about myself real quick.
Yeah.
I like to talk about myself, too.
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry.
Just not hog the whole mic?
Well,
no.
Let's talk about me.
I just wanted to tell you what I was wearing in the 7th grade. Don't spit out your wine.
Go on.
So, Mom was really trying to get me to look cool, because I did not look cool. And I'll tell you what, we'll post a picture of you on the Instagram, and we'll also post a picture of me on the Instagram. But I was painfully shy, and I would, like, hide to the point of, like, you know, I would, like, stand between lockers and, like, look down so nobody would talk to me, and people would talk to me just because, like, I think they were fucking with me. Like, right. What are you doing back there?
Which they probably weren't, but that's where our brains go.
That's what I thought.
Right.
But I had this, oh my God. I don't have a picture of it, so you'll just have to imagine it. An acid-washed jean jacket, but a real thick one with a fake sheepskin collar.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
No, that sounds badass.
Oh, you know.
It is now, but no.
Like, all I was missing was a mullet. But I loved that jacket, and I left it on the back of my chair at class, and it was gone forever after that. But Mom was always trying to get me to wear, like, Reeboks with crew socks with a denim skirt, you know, and like a side ponytail. Yeah. Like, that was the era with my 7th grade, and that's what all the cool girls were wearing. And Mom was like, don't you want to wear this? And I was not having it at all. I don't know what I wanted, but I just didn't want people to look at me. Right. And I didn't want to stand out. But anyways, we had very different 7th grades.
Well, so 7th grade, I wasn't quite there yet. 7th grade, I was jeans that didn't fit. They'd either be too big or too small. Mm-hmm. And some shirt from, like, Forever 21. No, Wet Seal was definitely around.
Oh,
Wet Seal. But it was always probably something on clearance that wasn't that cool. We grew up really kind of poor. I mean, when you've got that many kids. Mm-hmm. And then my stepdad, Jeff, started stealing because he's a fucking thief. And then we got really rich. And then we had 2 houses next door to each other. So we had money, but he still didn't give us very much money. Like, I believe we had a clothing, like, back to school fund. Like, we got $200 each to buy clothes or whatever.
I never got that.
Well, you didn't live with us.
And that's because I was kicked out.
Also, apparently, because he had been there since I was so young, he favored me over other people.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and I didn't know that. Like, how the hell would I know? Like, that's just how I grew up. Me and Richard got everything, and you guys got shit.
I got kicked out when I was 15.
So did Casey.
Mm-hmm. We weren't taking his shit.
Right. See, and I just didn't know any better. I mean, those are other stories.
Stories for another episode.
But anyway, so it's just like, it was some, like, shirt that wasn't cool by any means. But then, 8th grade, I want to say, like, I remember the first day of 8th grade. I had black fishnet stockings.
Cool. With
jeans that had big holes in them.
Super cool.
With a Cure shirt that I cut into a midriff.
Mostly cool.
Not that cool, actually. And then this sweater that was like, how do you describe it? It's like one of those not towels, but like blankets you put like a throw on the couch. It's kind of velvety, but they're like little pieces of fabric.
Yes, chenille.
So I had a jacket, but I had washed it, so it was really like fake. Like a bunch of it had come out, so it was like see-through almost. Mm-hmm. It was stupid. Like I did not dress that cool.
Well, here's what I want to know. So, you know, I've seen the pictures of you at this age. I've made fun of you a lot for them, and I will continue.
And that is fair.
I'll continue to do it until the day we're dead. But what I think our listeners really want to hear about is this game called Vampire that you guys used to play. I think everyone needs to know the glory, so spare no details.
I was very drunk a lot.
How old were you?
I was 14, 15. So Vampire is like D&D. So wrap your head around that real quick. You have dice generally, sheets with your abilities and disabilities and personality traits. things of this nature. Only vampire, you don't do it with the dice, but you do have a dungeon master, am I saying this right? Or a master of ceremonies, as I think is what they called it. I don't really know.
Listen, you're the one who played vampire.
Listen, I didn't play vampire. We were known as the Goth Squad. So, these people who also dressed, not as questionable as we dressed, but questionable nonetheless. Oh my god, everyone's going to hear this. We just went there to get drunk. So, like, behind Home Depot in Laguna Niguel, they would sit there and role play this shit, and they'd have a person who would say, okay, you've just been hit with lightning or whatever, and they blah, blah, blah. Like, I tried playing one time, and I was like, I'm gonna go with my friends who are drinking, because that is way more fun. But yeah, they were not amused with us by any means. Like, we hung out with them because they were kind of the same. Like, okay, so in Aliso Niguel...
So they were creative, and you just wanted to get wasted.
Yes. So, like,
That's okay, I understand.
we all hung out in what was called the Bat Cave. Because there, you know, there was the pit where all the cool people hung out, and then you had where all the Asian people hung out. We would, like, had the low riding, like, well, it's true. I mean, I don't think it's, you can cut it if it is, but, like, I wasn't going to call it a rice rocket, but that's what we called them back then.
We called them those in Hawaii, too.
Okay, so yeah, it was the Honda Civics that were low down to the ground, and those guys all hung out with each other. So you had them that were on this one side, and then all the gothic weirdo rave kids hung out at the other side, and that was called the Bat Cave, and that's where we hung out. Like, my literal hangout place was outside of the men's bathroom, where people are tracking in and out, shit and piss. That's where we would sit on the ground and eat our lunch. So, very cool.
That's very dark and gothic.
Well, you know, when you're that dark and gothic, what are you going to do?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you have vampire. So all of those people would hang out on the weekends. And little did I know at first, I found out later, they hated us because we would ruin their games.
Mm-hmm.
Cops would get called.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't play their game. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Did you get what you wanted out of that? Like,
I did. The only thing I'm missing, the only piece of the puzzle I'm missing, is if we go to Home Depot right now,
they would
in
not
Laguna
recognize
Niguel,
me.
would they still be playing vampire?
No. I'm actually friends with a few of them on Facebook, which is why I stopped and said, oh shit, people might actually hear this. And
Listen, I did the same shit. It was real D&D, and I tried to play once, and I was like, this is not for me. And you know what? God bless everyone who does it. It seems like a really fun thing, but I don't have the attention span for that. It takes a lot of concentration and a lot of time commitment.
Right. And I was going to say, like, and it was a whole weekend. You had to get there early because Ralph's was right up the street. And so we'd have to go sit in the parking lot and be like, can you buy me beer? Can you buy me beer? To every adult that went by that looked cool. So they would buy us some PBR, and then we would go.
Did you ever get ripped off?
No, never actually.
I never did either, and I can't believe it. I was listening to another podcast. Well, you know, My Favorite Murder.
Right.
We're big fans of the Murderinos.
We're Murderinos,
squad.
yeah.
Yeah, My Favorite Murder. We love it. But they had a recent episode where they were talking about doing the same shit. And they were like,
nice.
And I think it was Karen was like telling this funny story about, sorry, I totally hijacked your story.
Oh, no, I mean, it wasn't going anywhere.
She was like, these two totally sketchy dudes came in, or we asked them to buy us liquor, and they were like, yeah, sure. And she described the whole scene. They're like, young girls leaning in the car and like, giving them the order, which takes like 20 minutes. And if they don't have peach schnapps, we want peppermint schnapps.
See, we didn't roll that
only
way.
Like light and just like, I don't know if you've never heard Karen Kilgariff on My Favorite Murder. She's fucking hilarious.
She's very fucking funny.
And a great storyteller. So she tells this whole story, and the guys are like, sure, and kind of amused, and then they took their $40 or whatever and just drove off without even attempting to go in the store and make it look like they were buying it. But they let them like give this like 20-minute long liquor order. And I was like, you know what? Of all the times I asked people to buy me alcohol in Utah when I was underage, nobody ever ripped me off. And I mean, I'm sure they probably like didn't give us back our change or whatever.
Right. But that's to be expected.
3.2 alcohol beer out of it.
Fucking Utah. No, we got a full case, but we didn't make specifics. Well, my friend Josh, he would go in. So once we got a little bit older, he would go in, steal a whole like handle or like big thing of vodka, I have no idea why he kept doing this. And Josh, if you're listening, why the hell did you do this? Would buy a 2-liter thing of Dr. Pepper, right? And so, very gothic. I remember it was Kurt Cobain's, it was either his birthday or his death day. But Nirvana was being played on the radio all day. We went up to the water tower.
What's the water tower?
I don't even know if you can get there. It's in Laguna Niguel. It's like an access road that goes up to this water tower. I literally have I couldn't tell you how to get there today, if I tried. But we were up there and we were making bracelets and drinking. So we pour out half of the Dr. Pepper and pour vodka straight into it. No ice.
Oh, sweet Mary, Mother of God.
Maybe the Dr. Pepper was cold. I doubt it. Actually, I don't think it was. It was fucking warm. And we would just all drink off of the 2-liter. I'm going to throw up thinking about it.
Coronavirus!
So gross. But we just get trashed. And then we cry because Kurt Cobain was so cool and we'll never get to meet him. And
you know what? I'm sorry. I was just like thinking, I moved to Seattle right as that was happening. Like I moved there right when it was it was 94, I guess?
Yeah.
And like Courtney Love was having her big meltdown at the Seattle Center, like doing the eulogy or whatever. I wonder if you were at the water tower when I was in Seattle.
I think he'd been dead for a few years because I remember the year that he died and we were still living in Mission Viejo, and I remember Mike, I won't say his last name because I forget, who lived next door, was just like, Kurt Cobain died. And I was like, what? No. And actually I was like, I don't care because what that Smells Like Teen Spirit guy? Like, I had no idea. And then, of course, once I got older, I was like, I love Bleach. It's the best album ever.
It's a good album.
It is a really good album. But yeah, drinking 2-liter bottles of Dr. Pepper with vodka warm was not my finest moment.
No. And this leads us back to just basically telling stories of questionable life choices. There's a lot of times we both should have died.
100%.
And I'm very glad we're still alive.
Me too.
To tell the tale.
Yeah, there's been some times where you're like, wow, how did I get past that?
So listen, we've decided that it would be a lot of fun if you guys, our listeners, would email us some shit. Send us some stories. We want to hear stories of stupid shit that you did.
Maybe if you're Mormon and did stupid shit.
If you did stupid shit with us while we were blacked out drunk and we don't remember it, send us those too.
Oh, and maybe we'll even ask you to come on for a little bit and tell us to our faces all over the internet.
So if you have any stories and you would like us to read them and or interact with you on our podcast, we made up a Gmail. It's FHE Bad Mormons, so Family Home Evening Bad Mormons @gmail.com. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I would love to hear stories from other people.
Right? Did you do the same kind of shit we did? Or did you do worse things?
Or are we the only ones who are going to hell? It can't be.
I mean, it's all relative.
Well, thanks for joining us, you guys. This one's been a lot of fun. And don't worry, we're going to post some pictures on our Instagram so you can see.
I gotta go find some pictures.
You can see what teenage Mandi and teenage Charlotte looked like in our glory days of drinking Dr. Pepper and vodka at the Moon Tower.
God, I wish it was called the Moon Tower. Anyways, thanks for coming. We'll see you later.
Thanks for joining us for Family Home Evening.
Stay out of trouble.
Let's face